I'll get started here in just a second. I'll get started here in just a second, guys. Gotta get this out here. I'll get started here in just a second. I'll get started here in just a second, guys. Gotta get this out here. Uh, all right, hey. Welcome to another episode of Timeout with Coach Cam. We got a lot to discuss. Obviously, I'm a happy guy this morning about my UC football team. But, UC basketball has some struggles as well. We will discuss that. Also, we'll discuss, my prediction for the college football playoff, the top four, and who I think the committee will choose. Also, we'll have our quick hot takes. But I'm excited to get this show underway. Let's get it.
Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty by so many options. We on the way. Unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it. Timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute. Yeah. But we right back with it. Timeout with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Another episode of Time Out with Coach Cam. And I'm excited to get this underway. Won't be an hour, about 30, 45 minutes. But we will discuss, some great games that happened yesterday. Of course, I'll dive in, to my UC, my UC teams as well. I'm very excited this morning, man. I want to, congratulate the UC Bearcat football team. Being off a month, that's very hard. You've seen the rust. You've seen how the layoff kind of affected them. A lot of penalties, a lot of pre-snap penalties, 8 false starts. That's crazy. But to overcome that and get a win, still, man, I think that was great to see. You talk about Desmond Ritter. A lot of people wanted him benched for Ben Bryant. A lot of people was anxious to remove Desmond Ritter. I'm here to salute him. I was one of the rare guys that didn't want him pulled. You don't pull winners. You never pull winners. Um, you know, yeah, it was definitely a great W. Anytime you can have a quarterback that wins majority of his games. You talk about only losing 4 or 5 games as a starter throughout his career. He finds a way to win, and we've seen Ritter improve. This year in the passing, he's always been a great leader. And now he knows when to use his legs and when to throw. It's something good to see, and you can see him being a leader of this team. And I talked to my guy about it, Antonio. I say, you know what? Um, Desmond Ritter is kind of our watered down, um, our watered down JT Barrett in a sense, where he's a great leader. Sometimes he misses some throws here and there, but he finds a way to win games. He finds a way to lead his team to victory. But everybody wanted JT Barrett bench too, So um, shout out to Desmond Ritter. You talk about 352 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and Alex Pierce. Salute to him, 5 catches, 146 yards, and a TD, and scorched that boy Ali Green, who was the one on Twitter saying that UC was ducking smoke. Well, the only person I saw ducking smoke was Ali Green because he wanted no smoke with Alex Pierce. Alex Pierce was cooking that man all night, and I'm glad we shut Tulsa up. But shout out to Tulsa, man. They're a good football team, hard nosed football team. Um, and I just hope that game tonight display, to the nation that American athletic football. I'm not saying it's up there, with Big Ten or anything, but it's a solid football conference, and hopefully, it gets some respect moving forward because you talk about Tulsa's a great team, you talk about UCF still good, Memphis still good. And that's four solid teams. Most conferences got four solid teams, and everybody else is about in the middle of the pack. So I just hope that was on full display. And shout out to the two Cincinnati kids who got the interceptions last night: Jarrell White from LaSalle and Darian Beavers from here in Cincinnati as well. I believe he went to Coleraine. So shout out to them too, man. Making big plays on defense, definitely turned the game around. When it seemed like Tulsa was trying to get some momentum, that stopped there. I'm just here to say I'm proud to be a Cincinnati fan this morning. I know on Twitter I said, "Hey, please don't break our hearts tonight." I said we done took enough. I said we can't take another L here. We can't take another L. But you know what? They pulled it out despite the mistakes. I'm proud of them. Now, last night probably showed, are they a top 14? Maybe not. Maybe not. However, throughout this process, I just wanted a fair process. I've never asked for UC to be given anything. I wanted a fair process of how we do things. That's it in the college football playoffs. Um, I believe, and leading into that, I believe that the college football playoffs committee will leave us five. They're going to mess with us a little bit. They're going to leave us five. And it's unfortunate. Great West still undefeated, still gonna get snubbed for the college football playoffs. We are gonna get snubbed. I think we'll finish. Like I said, we'll finish five. They're gonna say, "See, there's a chance." Kind of dingling in front of our face. What's the old guy on the commercial? Oh, you got to be quicker than that. That's what they're gonna do with us. But it's all good. Um, I'm proud of UC because they did what they could do. They control what they control. They won every game, won the AAC title, and I think Fickle. Everybody saying Fickle's just gonna leave. Fickle's not. I'm telling you right now, Fickle's not leaving for any old job. It has to be a big wig power with a Powerball team like Notre Dame. It has to be something like that. He's not leaving just to go to a bigger conference just cause. I think Fickle and Freeman really trying to build something here, and I commend them on what they're doing. Brought back the local kids, recruiting local kids, built this program up. So shout out to the UC Bearcats. They didn't break our hearts last night, and I'm anxious to see who we'll play in this New Year's Six Bowl. Bring on whoever. Bring on whoever. Let's line it up and let's put our best foot forward to try to win that game and put our name on a national scale. Now moving on to the college football playoffs. Hold on, Rudy. Hey, look, I'm getting to that, Randy. I'll get to that later. Please tune in. I'm getting to that later in our quick hot text. I seen that as breaking news. Absolutely. Um, yeah. So moving on to the college football playoffs. Now we've seen the committee show their hand. I'm not worried about I'm not sitting up here waiting. Hopefully, my UC Bearcats get in. I know possibly that's not going to happen. They're not going to put UC in. My top four teams, as far as the college football playoffs, or who I think they will put in, one is obviously Alabama. Alabama, undefeated in the SEC. You know how they treat the SEC far as a conference. So Alabama's up there finishing undefeated in the SEC. You know what's going to happen there. Number two, you have the Clemson Tigers. I think Clemson beating Notre Dame yesterday solidified that. Having Trevor Lawrence back and having those three defensive guys back, that mattered the most. I know Trevor Lawrence played well. However, those three having that middle linebacker back, Skowski, having Davis on the D line, and also adding another player, I believe, in the secondary that was out, that helped them immensely. And you've seen that Notre Dame couldn't do anything on defense or offense. And it showed, and it really, really, really showed how big the gap is between those two teams. Number three, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. You can't leave them out. Very, very gutsy performance yesterday, having 20 plus players out, due to COVID. No, most of them, not main guys, but you had Olave out. and things like that, which really makes a difference for them. And shout out to Trey Sermon, who I'm sorry, no Ohio State fan liked him a month ago or 2 months ago. But y'all love some Trey Sermon on Saturday yesterday. But hey, I ain't gonna go too far. I said give Trey Sermon a chance, give him some time. But hey, y'all, hey. But shout out to him, 331 yards. Breaking the Big Ten record, breaking Eddie George record. That was a tremendous dominant performance from the offensive line and the and Trey Sermon. But what concerned me was Justin Fields. Justin Fields, kind of, I'm kind of concerned. I know he'll probably enter in the name in the draft because he's probably one of the top two quarterbacks. But I don't know, man. Against tough competition, he turns that ball over, and you really have to kind of look at that a little bit. I know he sprained his thumb yesterday, so maybe that has something to do with it. But Justin Fields going to have to play better for Ohio State to beat Clemson because we all know what Clemson can bring. And number 4, unfortunately, it won't be my Bearcats, man. I'm going to go with Texas A&M. I think they're going to put 2 SEC teams in there. I don't see a scenario where Notre Dame's in. I'm sorry, and I think they're going to leave them in, maybe, but I don't think they should. You get blasted by 3 scores on an ACC title game with a full, healthy Clemson team. That shows you're not on the same level as these teams. I'm sorry. Uh, Committee, you want to go by the eye test, right? Now, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying, where there's going to be a lot of dancing around these questions they asked today for the college football committee because they talk about eye tests all the time. What did the eye test tell us with Notre Dame? They ain't on the level of Ohio State, Clemson, or Alabama. That's what it shows us. That's what it shows us. UC versus Notre Dame Chick-fil-A Bowl. Line it up. Line it up. It'll be an interesting storyline with Brian Kelly and all that good stuff. Line it up. I'll take Notre Dame. It is what it is. Give me any big boy. I don't want to have us play like Coastal Carolina or anything like that. I don't think we will, but line that up. I'll take anyone. Let me see. Bama, Clemson, A&M, Ohio State, and that'll probably be the order. We'll probably finish about 5 or 6. Antonio, it is what it is, and this is the exact same format I had, the same 4 that I had: Bama, Clemson, O State, and Texas A&M. I don't think you can put Notre Dame in. And right, so no one wanted Trey. No one liked Trey Sermon. They were screaming for Mayan, screaming for every other name but Trey Sermon. Say he was too soft to play in the Big Ten. But now they love him after 311 yards. But that's how it is. Um, Now moving on, man. Is happy as I was about my UC, my UC football team. Ain't nobody's gonna take no one, and I mean no one is gonna let us let the nobody's gonna let me get my joy taken away after what happened last night because I'm so excited. Hold on, let me touch on this real quick. I think they let A&M jump us, and we got Bama January 1st. That's interesting. I don't see how they jump you though. I mean, I understand you only play 6 games. I don't see how they jump you though. I really don't. Still finished, 6-0. I think Ohio State gets that 3rd spot. I don't think they're gonna jump Texas A&M all the way to 3. Um, but if you got Bama January 1st, you got your work cut out for you. You got your work cut out for you. But the physicality up front, man, you got run the ball, run the ball. And I think Ohio State could be successful. Bama is dominant. Don't get me wrong, but they still got some flaws that you can expose. So that'll be an interesting game. Ohio State versus Bama. I would favor Bama in that slightly. Really not slightly. I favor them probably about 10, to be quite honest with you, just because the Ohio State secondary has shown to give up big plays. And I'm looking at those receivers and those athletes from Bama. Man, that could cause huge, huge, huge issue. Let's see here. He said, got to get the money. Bama versus Alabama rematch. Clemson O State rematch. But I'm telling you, well, the only thing about that is nobody really wants to see a Bama and A&M rematch. So Nobody don't want to see that. Nobody don't want to see that. They got popped by 28 the first time. So second time, you give Nick Saban, game film on when they played you. Plus, you give him multiple weeks, they might lose by 48. I don't want to see a Bama A&M rematch. That's the only reason why I would say please try to slide UC in there because I don't want to see that. Clemson O State rematch is good. That's a good rematch to see from last year. Of course, that's a big money, but Bama A&M I don't really see that being exciting after they lost by 4 scores the previous matchup. I think Randy agrees there with me. I don't think nobody really want to see that rematch of Bama A&M. That's gonna be ugly. But so they might slide Ohio State to 4 and have Clemson play A&M. It'd be interesting. Jimbo Fisher used to coach at Florida State, so it'd be Jimbo versus Dabo, and then you got Alabama and Ohio State that will draw huge viewers. So it'll be interesting to see how they what they do with those matchups there. I'm anxious to see that at 12 o'clock. So we will see. Now, moving on, what I was talking about, as happy as I was last night, I was ecstatic. I was so happy about, what happened with the UC, UC football and us winning that title. However, at the halftime of the Tulsa game, I decided to flip to SEC Network just to check the score of the UC basketball game, UC basketball versus Georgia. I look at halftime. It's 49-26 in favor of Georgia. That's not it. There is no excuse after losing at home to South Florida. You come out with this performance. You come out with this performance. You talk about defense. They can't stop anybody. Can't stop anybody. You give up 50 points in a half, give up 49% shooting. On the other hand, we shoot 39%. We miss 9, 10 free throws. Can't make 3-pointers. The senior on the team, he can score. Keith is a scorer. He doesn't make the best decisions. He doesn't take the best shots. It's unfortunate that UC basketball needs to recruit. I like the recruiting classes that the two recruiting classes that he had coming in. I like Tari Eason. I think he's probably one of the best players of the team as a freshman. I like Davenport. I like Mike Saunders. But we're playing and relying on a lot of freshmen. The guys that I didn't like the big men that he brought in outside of Eason. I don't like Chris Vogt. Like I said, I don't like to rag on kids or college kids, but he's not a high major college basketball player. He's not. You're 7-1, and last night your line is 0.5 rebounds. Give me a break. He fouls out almost of every game. He's either going to foul or give up an offensive rebound. It's like he doesn't even have a block all year. And I know he probably does, but it just doesn't seem like that. And I'm going to touch on this, Randy. You're right. UC did rush the process. It seemed like they already had Brandon picked out. If Mick left, they already knew who they want, and they did not go through the process. And I'm all for giving coaches a chance because that's how I am. I'm gonna give you a chance, but it doesn't take long to see if you're not in over your head, if you can handle this. Brandon looks in over his head. He looks in over his head. And I got some scoop, some inside scoop, that was, that's close to the team, that was close to, Jaron Cumberland last year. And I'm hearing Brandon can't relate to players. Like he has a weird personality, kind of a weird dude. And if you notice, there's no energy on the bench. There's no excitement. There's no toughness, and that's what I'm used to as UC basketball. You can rely on a couple things. Obviously, we've never been great offensively, but we was gonna defend our butts off. We was gonna rebound our butts off, and nobody was gonna out tough us. We had an identity for the last 30 years. As long as I've been on this earth, that's been our identity. And I said this on my last show. What is the identity of UC basketball that John Brennan is giving us right now? You can't tell me. We don't do nothing well. We don't play. We're not a good offensive team. We're not a good defensive team. We're not a good rebounding team, and we're soft. Tell me what is the identity? And don't tell me that it's early and that he don't have his guys in there. No, 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 no. You still establish an identity. When Mick Cronin came in and he came in with one scholarship player, and he put a team together and in the hard Big East, and we were losing a lot of games. We were losing a lot of games, but guess what? You had an identity. Mick Cronin and those kids, even though they were losing, they were playing tough. They were playing hard. They weren't gonna get outworked. They maybe got out skill, but they weren't gonna get outworked. When you get outworked, out coached, outplayed, and getting punked out, basically. This is this is not it. This is not it. I'm gonna get to your comment in a minute, Kenton. 50 and a half Huggins would never. Players would have to walk back from GA. Exactly. I even go even further. Mick would never. He wouldn't allow this. He wouldn't allow this. And I know times where UC played bad in the past. Huggins and Mick would take away some of their privileges, like you don't get to wear the UC practice jerseys today because you're not exhibiting the performance of what Bearcat basketball is supposed to be. Maybe they need some of that. But I'm not a fan. I'm out on John Brandon. I'm out on him. It don't take me long um, to see what a good coach is. He's not it. It's over his head. UC basketball conference is not that strong. It's not like the AC. Exactly, man. So it's no reason why we can't win this conference year in and year out. And that's where Mick had us at a point where we were winning it year in and year out. Uh, and Brandon inherited much better talent than what Mick did in the original when he first started. It's no excuse for this. It's no excuse for this. And I'll go off to the side here. My boy Ken, he said, "What's going on with Kentucky basketball? They keep losing." I tell you this though, if you have a young team, which Kentucky mostly has, when you have a young team and you're fighting with COVID because you can't practice the way you want to, a lot of young teams are struggling. Look at Duke. Look at Kentucky. It's because these guys are freshmen. They haven't had practice time. They have no time to gel. And maybe that's what's going on with UC too a little bit. No time to gel. You got a lot of young players. You got 6 new players, and it takes time. And that's why these teams are losing that used to seeing winning. When you have the turnover of the roster, 4 freshmen, 5 new freshmen, you're gonna get this performance with COVID. Just not enough practice, not enough time to gel. Um, and it's gonna be like that. 2020 is a weird year for sports, and with the COVID process and with the lack of practice, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. So teams that we're used to seeing winning, um, are not. And but my thing is, even those teams that's losing, like Kentucky and Duke, they have an identity. University of Cincinnati Bearcats basketball does not have an identity. Does not. And I look at the stats and I look at the shot attempts by certain players. It's like it's equal opportunity. And in basketball, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not equal opportunity for everyone. I see, Michael Adams Woods with 13 shots. Why is he getting 13? Why is he taking 13 shots? And Davenport coming off the bench. He don't, I like Davenport. He had 18 points. He doesn't, he's fearless. He plays hard. Eason with 11.6 rebounds as a freshman. He's playing well. There's some bright spots in these young guys, but I'm kind of disappointed in our upperclassmen. You talk about Vogt, not really bringing it. Keith Williams in foul trouble early, a lot and often. Questionable, questionable decision making, questionable IQ with the ball. Um, Guys that Brandon brought in. Look, man, we should not be relying on big men and recruiting them from NKU, bringing in Colgate's big man. Our athleticism on the front line is simply not there. They can't rebound. They can't move in the pick and roll, so they get cooked. Can't rim protect. I mean, and then the game just seems like it's way too fast for Rap, man. It looks like the game's too fast for him. Anytime he touched the ball, it's a travel, it's a turnover. It's bad. And you see once again last night, 22 turnovers. 22 turnovers. I mean, every game it seems like we got 20 turnovers. I don't understand. I don't understand. I understand he maybe wants to run this system, but maybe it's too complicated for the kids right now. Simplify it. Simplify it. Make it to where they can make easier reads. Because obviously the system that he's talking about is not working. And what kills me is that he tells us in the press conference when he gets hired, we're gonna play 94 feet, we're gonna trap, we're gonna press. I ain't seen none of that. Unless we down. We get down 20, then we want to trap and press. That's not it for me. UK is 1-5. I think they're accomplished stuff so far. Also, Kentucky usually starts a little slow. Last year they lost to Evansville early in the season. Yes, I do agree they normally start slow, but I've said with COVID and everything, not getting a lot of that practice time in the offseason, it's hurt them now. I know I know they get off the slow starts, but not this slow. Not this low. 1-5. This is real bad for UK. 6 games I can understand like 3-3, but 1-5 is bad. It's bad. Um, I like Terry. Terry's I know Terry. I coached his son in football. A while ago and in basketball a little bit. So I know Terry Nelson. Terry's a nice guy. Um, I think that a lot of people wanted Nick Van Exel to get at least a interview. I think they wanted him to get an interview, um, and be able to interview for the job just because he could get guys in here. He could get players in here, and I think he would want he would care about the university. And I think a lot of recruits will play for him. Ex NBA player. So I think that Nick Van Exel should at least got an interview, and I think that's what rubbed a lot of the alumni the wrong way. I'm not saying necessarily hire Nick, but to not give him an interview was very, very, very disappointing to say the least. He lied to exactly. He lied to us. He lied to us. I'm not saying he can't control putting the ball in the hoop, but man, you talk about pressing, you talk about this and that. He ain't do nothing for it. I mean, he had not at all. Not at all. So I'm I'm kind of baffled with UC basketball. I really am. I wanted Van Exel as the coach. Maybe, man. Maybe next time they're hiring, maybe at least they give him an interview. But something has to change. It has to be different. Because I don't know if John Brandon is it, and I know John Brandon. This new AD, John Cunningham, did not hire John Brandon. So it's going to be interesting to see how, um, how long he's going to stay with this. Because this is not it. This is not it at all. And yeah, it is disrespectful. As an alumni, he deserves. Even if you don't want to hire him, at least give him a chance to interview the process, see what he can improve on. For maybe a future job. Like this is your alumni. You got to treat them better. You got to treat them better than that. Man, look, I'm not even talking about the Bengals today. Um, you know, uh, don't even expect to hear from me about the Bengals today. This is going to be a Bearcat episode. The Bengals are terrible. Uh, you know, this is a new level. Uh, you said 2019 Bengals. Yeah, this is new right here. I can't even say 90s. This is worse than the 90s. It is really bad. It's really bad right now. Definitely. But yeah, I'm just disappointed with UC basketball. Like I said, I expected a little down year, but sitting here at 2-4, with losses to South Florida, blowout losses to Georgia, and fans I told fans on Twitter, I said, We know where we at as a program when y'all get excited about wins over Lipscomb and Furman. Talk about some, oh, Furman's a solid team. They're Ken Palms in the 60s. I'm like, it's Furman. It's Furman. I don't care about Furman. Furman is trash. They are a low major school, which normally usually dominate by 20, and we're barely beating them, and we're excited about it. That's where I knew where our program is. Excited about wins over Furman. My guy DP, thank you. No Bengals today, DP. Nope. Nah, they don't deserve they don't deserve to be on the tube today. They don't deserve to be on the tube. All right, quick hot takes coming up, man. Hey, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, 25 points, 27 minutes. I told Kevin, I said, look, man, I said, if anybody could come back the same way as you know as you were before as a player, it's Kevin Durant. You talk about a 6'11" guy, pull up mid range over you, shoot from 30. And I'm glad that he was able to spend the whole year off. And then you got the COVID, the pandemic stretched it out even longer. So he got more of a break. You have more of a break. So this is great. KD, I'm glad he back. I'm glad he on point. It makes the NBA better. And I'm excited to see what the Nets can do because a healthy Kevin Durant, man, is lethal. One of the best scorers we ever seen. And Kyrie look like he's balling, like they got a little chemistry going on. So I'm interested to see what the Nets can do this season. I'm gonna touch on some of these comments. No disrespect. When you coach at NKU, then start coaching a big market team. Come on, you see, we could have done better. Xavier seems to get great coaching every time. Hey, I agree with you somewhat. However, a lot of these good coaches, started from small schools. It's how you translate and how you recruit. Now, when you get to a UC and you're pulling cats from your old team, that's not it for me. Especially Chris Vogt, who's just not. He's not athletically. He's not athletic enough to keep up with teams in the American Athletic Conference or high major team. He's just not. He's too slow. He doesn't rebound. Doesn't rim protect. He's just not good. You know, like I said, I was willing to give him a chance. And maybe I need to be more patient, but I just don't see it with him. I don't see it with him. I do want to see when Tariq Eason becomes like a junior, where perhaps where the team is, but right now it's just not looking good. All right, I'll discuss this. Chiefs and Saints. Who I got? I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs. Um, I don't. Drew Brees is coming back. Um, we'll see how healthy he is. I know he's a tough guy. Man, the Chiefs find so many different ways to win. But the Saints got a good rushing attack, and they're gonna need to use it to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Eat clock, eat clock, eat clock, eat clock, eat clock. But I still think, too many weapons, too many ways to skin a cat, man. I got the Chiefs. Let's see here. All this talent we have in the city in high school hoop, we're supposed to have a great basketball program. I agree with that, but you got to try to get the kids to stay. Unfortunately, with Mick Cronin, he didn't recruit local guys. Now, when he gets to UCLA, he wants to recruit Cincinnati guys, which is very interesting to me anyway. But, you got to hope, Brandon's right now obviously offered P. Mac, he offered Rayvon. So, got to try to get some of these local kids here. He tried to get Carleek in transfer portal. So you guys just try to, try to get these local guys. That's where it starts. So we'll see where you see if we can get some of these guys in. But right now, I'm just concerned about recruiting. We have no one recruited in for next year's class. No one. So that's very concerning to me as well. Um, I think they may win by 10. You think the Chiefs will win by 10? They might. They might. I'm not saying the Chiefs not gonna do that at all. I just think they got too much offensive firepower. It's just too much. Um, Breaking news, and my guy Randy Lee brought it up earlier. Supermax deal for Rudy Gobert. 5 years, 205 million. Well, I would have done it. No, no, I wouldn't have did that. I wouldn't have did that. I like Rudy Gobert. I think oftentimes, you know, he get kind of, pushed to the side. But you talk about a good, defensive big man, averages, 13 and 15 with a couple blocks. And he definitely makes his impact felt. I just thought maybe I don't know if the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, the Ingles. I just don't know if that's gonna be enough to push them forward. And with that, I thought maybe they would look to trade Rudy Gobert for some pieces. But 5 years, 25 million. Lock up your good guys. Super max deal. I know a lot of people say he's not worth it. Um, but that's a good, and this is a good, perfect example right here. I would have done it if I was in the Bay, but for Utah, they had to gain the money. They have to keep your stars. When a place like Utah, unfortunately, like someone like Gordon Hayward left and things like that, you gotta keep your stars. So I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at them at all. Hopefully, they can put some more pieces around them to help Donovan Mitchell and help them get over the top. I think he was worth every penny, Rudy. I mean, yeah, he worth it. There's worse players that's getting max deals. So for Utah Jazz, it was worth it, and look for them to continue to make the playoffs and be a formidable competition in the Western Conference. All right. Oh, this is interesting. What's my NFL picks? You headed to Hollywood now. And this was just something I was going to add, on my show in the future to give you some locks for the day. Obviously, I know it's tomorrow, but you want to fade the Bengals at all costs. Take whatever points the Steelers are favored by. You take it. Fade Bengals at all costs. Um, I'm taking the -3. I'm taking the -3 with Kansas City today. I think they win that game. Um, I'm also looking at. I would take that +7.5 from the Texans. I think the Colts win, but they keep it close. I will take the plus 7.5 there with them. Also a pick that I really, 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 really like is I like the excuse me. I like the -3 with the 49ers. I don't trust Dalton. I like the -3 there, and I also like the under. I like the under. I think that's going to be more of like a 24-13 type of game. I like the under 46 in that. Um Now, moving on to my next quick hot take. Canelo Alvarez, I'll make this quick. Made it, dominant performance last night. Dominant performance last night. To me, pound for pound, the best boxer, in the world right now. You talk about someone, probably the only person who fought Floyd and learned from it and became a better fighter. And man, you talk about slick, slick with the glove, slick with his movement. You can't hit him. And it's just dominant, man. Just dominant. It's like, he took some of, some of the things out of Floyd playbook and put it in his, and man, just a great fighter, dominant performance. Uh, hasn't ducked any smoke now. It's just like nobody really wants to fight the dude. So hats off to Canelo, another dominant performance from him. Um, Wentz. There's sources now that come out and say Carson Wentz is not interested in being a backup. This can cause major issues for the Philadelphia Eagles because Carson Wentz is owed a lot of money. And the cap hit that they get, that they may have to take with him not being on the roster next year is out this world. You talk about 40 plus million. And Jalen Hurts has now fired up the locker room. And it seems like Doug Peterson even had a better game plan for Jalen Hurts. I'm not sure. I told you, I'm not sure if Doug Peterson really wanted Wentz out there. I think you don't draft a quarterback in the second round for him to just be a career backup. Uh, you know They brought in Jalen Hurts because they was thinking if Wentz mess up, we got a quarterback in place. And I was happy for Jalen Hurts that he won last week. But man, Carson Wentz saying that he's not don't want to be a backup, and I understand that he's a starter in this league, but I don't think um, I think he's above average. I think he's above average right now. I think he's very skittish in the pocket. And don't get me wrong, his linemen were definitely out. His lineman was definitely hurt this year, but you know it's something to be said about the leadership intangibles. And you can tell the look on his face, like you can tell the players around him didn't really believe in him. They didn't believe in him. As soon as Hurts got out there, everybody's spirit picked up. Everybody's spirit picked up. The players fought harder. The players played harder, and it shows. And sometimes a change is needed. It's not the talent of Carson Wentz. I think it's his leadership and intangibles is what hold Carson Wentz back. And the guys don't want to really galvanize and play for him. And it shows, it shows when a person Jalen Hurts come out against a Saints team that's been dominant even without Drew Brees, and they go out and win that game. That says a lot to me. Let's see here. Mark just said it wasn't close. Talk about the fight, not at all. Wasn't even close. His defense got better after that. For yes, he took a page out of Floyd's book and definitely got better defensively, and it helps him be a better fighter. Carson thinks he's better than what he is. Yeah, that's possibly the case. Like I said, but I think the arm talent is there. I think the talent is there is about him throwing the football. It's more of the leadership intangibles, and I think that's what hurts him. And that's why I think when you seen a couple years ago he got hurt, Foles came back. Obviously led him to the Super Bowl. Then the next year he got hurt late in the season, and then Foles came in and led him to the playoffs. Things like that. Just goes to show you, like the leadership intangibles. It's just not there. Washington take wins because Haskins is not his guy. That's interesting. That's very interesting with Carson Wentz. Now, another place where Carson Wentz can go because I think the Colts can be much better with the better quarterback. And if you put Carson Wentz with his old coordinator Frank Reich with the Colts, I think that's a valuable move. I think that's a good move. Washington is definitely an option. But I also think, the Colts is an option. The Patriots could be an option. Everybody's thinking San Francisco go to Dak, but that could be an option. Bears need a quarterback. They can be an option. So he got places to go. But that cap hit that the Eagles gonna have to take is nasty. And yes, Patriots is definitely an option. Definitely an option. All right, now I'm also hearing here before we go. I'm hearing that the Notre Dame coach Pat Fitzgerald is now up for head coaching jobs in the NFL. I don't know what to think about that, but one thing I will say about Pat Fitzgerald's teams is that them Notre Dame teams is tough. I mean, not Notre Dame, excuse me, Northwestern teams are tough. You look at yesterday, and I know Ohio State had a lot of guys out, but they Northwestern they wanted to smoke. Now, I don't think they're a great team. I don't. I don't think Northwestern is that good. But he does coach them boys up. He does coach them boys up there, and I think he could be an NFL coach. He would definitely need a great OC around him. But as far as his defense, his defensive coaching and his ability to coach defense, I think that can translate to the NFL. But overall, as far as the offense, he would definitely have to get a stronger minded offensive coach around him to help him. But it's going to be interesting because he's getting a lot of calls and a lot of interest from these NFL teams. And, their teams play tough, they play sound football. And I think his coaching can translate to the NFL. It'll be interesting to see if he does leave. But we'll see. We will see about that. And, you know, hey, college football playoff, selection show starts in an hour. I'm about to wind down, get ready for that. But I want to say I am proud to be a Bearcats fan today. And wherever they put us at, wherever we play at, I'll be excited to take it, hopefully against a big boy. Be ready to line it up. Be ready to win on the national stage. We got the opportunity to do that. We deserve that. And, no one gave us anything. We went out there and took every game. So I'm proud of the boys. Hey, that's it. Another episode of Timeout with Coach Cam. Remember, I have my Timeout with Coach Cam wristbands, 3 for 10. Hit me up. If you need a few, I got you. But all in all, another great show, and we'll be back. We'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll discuss, discuss some more sports and get into it because you know what? NBA season is here, is ready, and I'm excited for it. And you know what? It's great. It's a great time to be a sports fan. We got basketball. We get the playoffs of the football. College football playoffs and NFL. So it's exciting. It's exciting time of year of sports. So on behalf of Time Out with Coach Cam, I appreciate everyone for watching. Continue to comment. Like I said, I will definitely, pull your comment up. You know, react to it, different things like that. But I am excited that everyone, that people tuned in and watch. I enjoy y'all. Thank you for the support. We out.
Timeout, overtime, hot take, debate, penalty by so many options. We on the way. Unapologetic opinions, guests checking in, so I share on my social. Merch going up, my brother, he going global. Ass hold it down for the ladies, they need their own show. But we right back with it. Time out with Coach Cam, we shouldn't miss a minute. But we right back with it. Time out with Coach Cam, we shouldn't